So I don't know. What's been going on in your week, man?
I mean, I've been just like, what have I been up to? Monday we did this. I had work all week. Work's been cool. Just meeting with people, talking to them about their stuff. I had to stay late on Thursday, but that was also like kind of my choice. I like had to like meet with this guy, and he was like, "Oh, I can't meet till 5, and five's when I get off." So I was like, whatever, I'll stay extra." He's been like needing a little extra support. Um, what else has been going on outside of work? The storms up here were crazy. So like Tuesday we had like a nutty storm come in, and the wind was nuts. The morning the rain was pretty bad, but it got better by the afternoon. But the winds still lingered, and they were pretty scary. I don't know what it was like down there for you guys.
I mean, it wasn't as bad. I mean, like it was kind of on and off, like medium heavy rain to like just light drizzle. Tomorrow's supposed to be bad though, which sucks because I'm going to D&D tomorrow. So
Oh, okay. So drive.
yeah,
Yeah, it's supposed to be bad up here too. We have like a 100% coverage, is what the weather report
yeah.
says.
Well,
That sucks.
I'm also going to Los Alamos tomorrow for some whiskey.
Oh, what during the day?
Yeah.
Very nice. What you going for like a whiskey tasting?
No, it's to get a couple more bottles of this delicious Irish whiskey called John L. Sullivan Irish whiskey.
Uh huh.
And it's basically like it starts off with strong notes of like vanilla and like subtle banana, and then it finishes with a strong smoky finish. Like it is like
Banana.
yeah.
That's an interesting mix. I mean, like I've had screwball whiskey, which is like the peanut butter one. Excuse me. Um, yeah, I mean it's been that's been pretty good. There's this bar I go to that does like a peanut butter white Russian, so they use screwball whiskey instead of the vodka you're supposed to use,
Yeah, and I tried
which is
that,
very
and
nice.
honestly, it's fire.
That's right. That's right. I've shown it to you.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds cool, man. So this is in Alamos,
Los Alamos. Yeah,
Los Alamos. How far is that?
about an hour's drive from where I'm at.
Oh shit! So don't drink too much because you got to drive an hour back with her.
Yeah, no, I'm not drinking there. It's literally going to a small bottle shop and then just picking some up and then going straight home.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
You'll be chilling. You're going all the way out to just you're doing a 2 hour drive total just to like go get some whiskey.
Because it's a good whiskey, and
It better be a good whiskey.
I don't know when I'm gonna see it again. I already have one bottle, and I'm trying not to like drink it myself because it's so fucking good.
Yeah, no, for real, you could
Yeah.
like easily. I bet you could get hooked on that stuff. Banana hint to a whiskey. I'm not much of a whiskey guy. I do a whiskey sour when I go to the bar and stuff. If they don't have
Yeah.
like a white Russian, they can make. But which is an easy drink. It's easy to down. It's easy for bartenders to make. You know, it's
Yeah.
like I remember going to this one bar and like I was like, "Can I get a sidecar?" Because I remember that being good. I don't remember what was in it. I think it was like cognac was in there and stuff.
Yeah, it's like a
But
tequila sunrise, but with cognac instead.
yeah, it's really good. And so the guy was like, "I don't know how to make that," so he had to Google it. Then he made it for me, which is very nice. But yeah, so usually just whiskey sour is like a good go-to drink, or like a Jack and Coke is always good.
See,
Well,
it's
not good.
funny.
Like it's fine.
Me and our parents, we went to this bar called Rambling Spirits. It's kind of a bar slash breakfast place, but I know it's weird. But we got some cocktails, and I had a tequila sunrise, but with gin, their own gin that they make in house instead of
Oh, they're
tequila.
just still in house.
Exactly. And he
That's
was
rad.
like, "Yeah, I don't really have a name for this one yet." And I'm like, "Well, if one with tequila is a tequila sunrise, and maybe one with gin is the sun never sets on the British Empire."
Very nice. That's a long name for a cocktail, but yeah, it's a good name.
Yeah.
Maybe call it a sunset for short.
Exactly.
That's cool, man. Yeah, that's rad. What else have I been up to this week? Wednesday was vinyl night, so just hang out, have a few beers, spin some vinyl. Thursday was Broncos, and Broncos was like cool this week. It just got very packed very quickly, and I always feel like awkward in a club because I'm just like trying to vibe by myself or with my boys. I mean, right? Like hang out.
Yeah.
But then like you're like in this like close knit room with a bunch of people that you like don't know, and like it's always weird when you make eye contact. I'm like I'm not. I'm just like trying to vibe by myself. Sorry, what's up? Um, I don't know. I always feel awkward myself. Maybe I just get too much in my head about it.
Well, no, I do the same thing. Like if I'm going out to like places to like eat or whatnot, or like uh, going out to like breweries and whatnot, whatever I'm doing. It's like it
Yeah.
is weird because like I don't know any of these people, so like I have to have someone I know with me. Otherwise, I'm just gonna be like the anti-social person in the entire room.
Well, it's fine to go by yourself. I've done things by
Yeah.
myself. Like I've gone to the movies by myself. It's easier with a crowd of people. Like I was watching this comedian and he was saying like you so like people don't woo anymore like they used to, I guess was his bit. So like
Yeah.
you see a crowd of people, right? And the wooing is okay, right? It's like when there's like a crowd of 5 people or more, they're all going woo, woo, like they're having a great time. But then
Yeah.
like you see one lonely dude in the street going woo. It's like okay, stay away from the wooing, man. You know what I mean? Like
Uh,
he's a little on one. So I could see that perception for sure.
yeah.
Um, but no, I mean like, I just don't like prolonged eye contact with strangers because like I don't know. And bars are weird, right? Like I'm not much into the bar scene. I mean, I go out a lot, right? But that's because friends of mine, they're they're like alcoholic British friends. They're like, you want to go to the pub? They're always just like they want to go out drinking, and like it's cool. Um, and like the bar is like kind of like I guess the adult place to be and hang out and stuff for prolonged periods of time without having to necessarily eat. You just like have a couple drinks. But bars, man, I've always had mixed experiences because like drinking is like a people getting drunk is like a very everyone has different reactions on that. I mean, I guess everyone has different reactions on like a lot of drugs, on all drugs, I guess. Because to the viewers at home, alcohol is a drug. They just somehow always try to separate it, but that's because alcohol is like culturally more accepted, I guess, is my kind of like thinking.
It's
Um,
because it's like the one drug that has been like consumed by humans for 1,000 years, basically, as well as like other animals in the animal kingdom. Like we're not the only ones that ferment fruit to get like drunk. So like,
well, there's monkeys actually in the Caribbean. I want to say they're like predisposed to like alcoholism, and so they like steal tourist drinks and stuff, and like just get drunk off of that because they like I guess like they eat fermented fruit, and so like all their
mm,
ancestors and stuff have gotten like a taste of alcohol, and they like the feeling of being drunk, which like being drunk again, like to an extent, can be fun. Right, it can be fun. It's just like the after result of the hangover, the puking, and the puking can sometimes even comes before the night's over. It just depends on how much you've had to drink, how much you're able to handle. My pregame, usually before a Broncos night, would probably kill somebody. I don't mean to sound like I'm an alcoholic, but like I usually like don't leave the house unless there's been like it usually ends up being like 5 or 6 shots in me before I even leave.
damn.
But I am responsible. It's stumbling distance from my apartment, so it's perfect. But so what's it? So like I don't know like drinking. It appealed to me in college for the short period I did a lot of it, and then now I'm just kind of like grown tired of it. I think it's like it also takes me like longer to recover. Maybe I'm starting to notice, and like maybe that's just like a symptom of age, and I'm like fuck, I'm getting older and I can't handle it. But like I don't know. I just had mixed experiences because other people at bars, right? I've seen fights go down at bars. I've seen like a good couple, like probably 3 or 4. I've seen fights break out, and and people just get like emotional and stuff when they're drunk, and then like they get mad or they get sad or whatever it may be, and it's like I hate when people reach that plateau. And it feels like that's kind of like the point that's always achieved when people exceedingly drink. And so I'm
Yeah.
just kind of like, but I understand people's experiences with drugs are different, right? People can go have fun with other stuff. That's why I try to uh, regulate it as much as I can. I at least know my limits and stuff. I have a high tolerance, which like that's both good and bad, right? Like I don't end up puking in corners anymore unless I get like stupid drunk. Um, but I also like it also makes it so that I'm not a cheap date. I need like a lot more to get drunk off of.
Yeah.
Which I guess, but again, it works out because I don't like getting drunk as much anymore. It's not a fun feeling. I this last time the spins kicked in and I was like, "Fuck, dude, this sucks." But
Yeah.
you handle it.
No, yeah, like this week in particular, I think I might have had like a little too much to drink, so I'm like taking a breather. And like now I'm in my like gym rat phase, where I'm just like trying to get back into working out. I literally have a fresh case of Bang energy drinks and like protein powder now.
Okay, sweet. You
Yeah,
mix them too. People usually drink those bangs before they go to the gym. Yeah,
yeah,
gives a lot of energy. I need to go back to the gym for sure. I'm not super fit, but I have been changing my diet a lot. I've been
yeah.
more greens in and stuff. Trying to eat less during meals. I figure that's like best.
Well,
And it's hard, right?
I'm just trying to cut out carbs, honestly. Like, just little steps to change my diet. You know, carbs, sugar, out the fucking window.
Usually I try to keep carbs to like just in the morning because I always have a bagel for breakfast.
Yeah,
It's pretty low calorie relatively. But it is a lot of carbs, right? So like I probably not a lot. I don't actually ever read the nutrition facts. I'm not a nutritionist. I don't attest to know anything about this. I'm just trying to like do my best with what I have. Um,
yeah.
it's
Also,
just hard, man.
everyone's bodies like work differently. So if anything, you're like trying to gauge what you should do for your body, anyways. What you feel like you should do.
I should probably just talk to a nutritionist. That would be a good idea. I definitely need to get set up with a physician. I was talking to my boss about that today. It's like I haven't seen a primary care physician since like before the pandemic. So like I think late 2019 is when I saw one. It was like a December. It was December 2019. Um, and it's just good for you. It's good to like make sure everything's like check and okay and like I do see my optometrist once a year, so I saw my optometrist recently. My eyes are doing fine, which is good, even though I stare at screens all day.
Yeah,
Uh, that's the problem with office work too. It's just hard to like take care of yourself in the modern world, man, and fit everything in. You know, like I don't feel like I can squeeze. I could probably squeeze the time for working out in, but it would just require a lot more energy of me, and I know I should do it. But it's like, and you know, I often have to like practice what I preach as well. I was telling somebody, so like there was a meta-analysis conduct. This was years ago. I think this was like 2018 or something. So maybe there's like new updated research, but like there was a meta-analysis done of like different theoretical approaches to psychology and their effective rates and stuff. And I can't cite which article it was. I used this for college. I'd probably have to read through one of my old papers, which I still have all in my Google Docs at least. But so anyway, so I the meta-analysis compared all these different approaches, but it resulted in that the two most effective treatments for like depression, anxiety, whatever, are exercise and social connection are like the two most effective interventions for like for those for that and probably other disorders as well to follow, right? So
huh.
like the point was that it's like self care in the form of exercise and human connection through like social relationships are two of the most key components to our well being and our like survival and stuff. And I think that's like a really important thing to note because like we really are social creatures. I mean, like we really just need people. We need to talk to people. We also need like our space, of course, and our time to ourselves. That's why like I enjoy having this apartment. It gives me that. But like we need to be with people and talk with people. Keeping our thoughts to ourselves at all times would just drive us nuts. Like it's been shown, isolation is just not conducive for our well being.
Yeah, no, that's very true. That is.
But props to you for getting into exercise, man. I got some good advice about it once. Was like you don't fit the exercise into your schedule. You fit your schedule around your exercise, which like that, you know, it's just about priorities, I guess.
That is very true. That is like the one reason why I kept like going into these phases and then like falling out of it. It's like because I care too much about like what other schedules and priorities I have in my life instead of
Well,
just
like yeah, we got work and shit. We got
yeah,
like chores. Like I spend so much time doing chores. I'm like every day I gotta fucking do the dishes. Sometimes I'll like vacuum or clean up or whatever. I'm preoccupied with like all the other components of life to fit everything else in. It's like
yeah.
it's hard, man.
It is. It really is. And honestly, like it the more I try and like get into this like actual workout phase, like it helps me like with other aspects of my life, like actually like taking care of myself like in other aspects like my diet, hygiene, everything. And it's just yeah, I just got to keep it going otherwise I'm just going to fall off again and it's going to be bad.
Meal prep would be a good idea too. I definitely need to meal prep more. I think that'd be like spend like maybe 2 days a week just like spending just cooking all your meals for the week. But then you have to eat the same thing over and over again, which is kind of like boring. But like it also saves you money a little bit too, and like
That is true. Yeah.
leftovers are really good. I have I made like some pasta the other day, and like I've been able to make that. Like I put that into like two more meals. Or wait, let's see. I had some yesterday. Wait, today's Monday, right?
Yeah,
This is a
today's
weekday. What
Monday.
day is this? Um, it was. I had it Saturday night. I had a part of it yesterday. I had part of it today for lunch, and I'm gonna have the last part of it tomorrow for lunch. Bring it to work
Yeah.
with me. Um, and so yeah, I've been able to like turn just one box of macaroni of macaroni and some sauce into like three days worth of meals. Man, it's been great.
Damn, I just had dinner, but now I'm getting hungry again because that sounds good.
Yeah, no, for real, it was pretty good. I did something unconventional. I did well, I guess like I don't know, fettuccine alfredo. I've heard is not like a real Italian dish, but like commenters tell me otherwise. But so it was, I had macaroni and Alfredo sauce topped over it, and then
Ooh.
some meatballs on the side, and like garlic bread.
Ooh.
And so I still have some of the meatballs left and the pasta, so I'll bring that to work tomorrow. Have that while I'm at the office. My one day a week. I really dig my job, man. I just get to vibe with people all day. It's really cool. We just talk about life and stuff.
That's
Today I
fucking
had a
neat.
very challenging session. It was good, but you know, they were just like very emotional, and it's cool, right? I'm glad I could be there for them, but yeah, it was tough. But no, I like my job a lot, man. It's very nice.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of flexibility in like where I get to be right now. But anyhow, what else has been going on? What's been going on in the world, man? What's been going on outside of just our lives, but in the world? There was
There's that fucking conservative social media app Getter having the most bizarre marketplace idea I've ever heard in my life.
what happened with Getter?
Oh, they're trying to start a marketplace for selling eggs and semen that have not been contaminated with the COVID-19 vaccine. Apparently, let me let me
I'm
stop
just
you.
shocked. I'm flabbergasted by that statement. That's insanity.
Yeah, let me try and break this
That's like
down
a
for you
real
the best that
flaw.
I can. So
Please, please explain. Yeah, explain further. I need more context.
basically, people who have not taken the COVID-19 vaccination are apparently being requested by people running Getter to like sell their eggs and their semen because they have not been contaminated by the COVID-19 vaccination.
It doesn't change your fucking DNA. What sort of bullshit?
No,
What?
they think it has something to do with like low virility or vitality or however you want to say it, like impotence essentially. Like it's like
Okay, yeah, like you can't make babies.
exactly. So they need these pure bloods to that's literally how they're referring to them to give you know their seed and their egg for future generations to live on when the time calls for it.
That's like a basis of that. That's the basis of that is the conspiracy theory that like the vaccines are like a population control thing. Um,
Yeah.
I'm gonna just poke a hole in that right there. I'm gonna take a word from the great. I think it was Bill Burr who said this. Is like if they wanted population control and they were gonna give something to uh, to make sure that people can't reproduce right and are obedient, uh, you wouldn't want to make a killer virus and give it to those who are obedient and will take the virus at first sight. You'd want to give it to those who aren't, and you know what I mean, like that
Yeah.
would because then you'd want to get rid of the disobedient ones, and it's I don't know, man. You know, it's like Getter is a symptom of social media in general, and like it's this component of like where there's great echo chambers created among the internet through like all these different medias and all these different communications, and people can find. There have always been people in history who have had weird shit to say. The internet has just allowed them to connect with each other and build a sense of community from all around the world, where people with weird shit and a Wi-Fi connection can talk about weird shit and weird ideas and like spread stupidity and ignorance and misinformation. And uh you know it's funny with humans, right? We can never see the foresight of things. Like oh, this week I watched the I watched the documentary that dropped on Netflix, I guess on Friday, called Money Shot. It was about the porn. It was about Pornhub, and it talked a lot about well, them of course as a platform and how they grew and how they developed. But also there's like a current lawsuit going on because like I think it was 2021 that a lot of this started leaking. Is that like um, there were a lot of like sex trafficking and like rape videos and like child abuse videos on the platform.
Ooh.
And the challenging thing about the documentary was it was using all these angles, right? And I don't know if it stayed. I think it stayed pretty neutral in both sides, right, of the story. It's like, so what happened? Let's see if I can sum this up in a way. It's a long film. There's a lot of things going on, but so like
How
Pornhub was
long is it?
created.
Like 2.5 hours?
It's an hour and a half.
Oh, okay.
It's actually a really short film. It's really nice. I bring back the 90-minute movie. It was just a lot of information and a lot of things going on. When Pornhub was created, it was a video sharing platform where anyone could upload, and there was no age verification, or anything like that, anything of that capacity. And there
Yeah.
was also no real copyrights. And it's kind of, I think Pornhub's kind of a symptom of what we foresaw with the case of Pam and Tommy, right, where their sex tape was leaked on the internet, like it was the first thing to go viral. Um,
Yeah.
and the fact that copies were made and sent out to different websites and people were sharing it all over and stuff, um, it was kind of like it was kind of the first example of how people can like just how you put something on the internet and it stays there forever because people can make a copy and stuff of that
Exactly.
data. And so the issue was that Pornhub was like allowing anyone to upload. Didn't even have to be the content creator who made the video. It could be anybody, and they could have just stolen the video from some other website that had members pay for it. Like and these were websites pre OnlyFans and like other stuff.
Yeah.
And so there would be a lot of stolen content on there too. But then later they started monetizing stuff and like helping creators be able to like use the platform to make gain and stuff and get the money they will deserve, right, for their services.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
and like the thing is, it wasn't like moderated, and so it wasn't moderated well enough. It was moderated, but these moderators were required to watch like I think the number was something astronomical. It was like 800 to 1,000 videos a day, which like is not possible in an 8-hour shift. Some of these
No.
videos are very long. You have to watch the whole like 10, 15, 20 hour long videos. Some of these are an hour long. I frequent the site a lot, admittedly, but and then it's challenging, right? Because like there's just a lot of different sides to it. Because like, well, so first off, I will admit, Pornhub did not do nearly enough to help victims. Because eventually, what happened was that not only was there stolen content posted, there was like underage videos posted of these girls in these situations with some oftentimes older men, or there were rape videos published, or um, what else was it? It was child abuse. Um, um, it was a lot. Yeah, a lot of these awful things being posted, and that were later removed after quite some time. And like when victims would like go into the site and essentially beg for these to be removed, it would take a long time for them to be removed. So they'd get a lot more views and traction in between that time, and
Yeah.
be shared. And so it's very like there's like 34. There were 34 women who were like suing Pornhub for that, and rightfully so. And like here's the thing, right? I think other content creators. I think the challenge is that content creators should not be punished. Uh, the ones who weren't involved in any of the crimes should not be punished, obviously, because um, they're just creating their content, and the site helps them to share uh, their content and make and gross money. And I am a strong proponent of like I support sex work. Uh, Sex work is work, right? So it's like sex is a commodity. It can be bought and sold. That's why it's like exploited, and there's trafficking and other things. And it's like, and those things are horrible. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong, they're inexcusable. They're not okay. I'm making that very clear right now. None of that's okay. And I really, again, I think I'm torn because like Pornhub is a platform that has especially in recent allowed for creators to monetize themselves and to get rightfully compensated even after for. But you know what? I think I'm on the side of like as a whole, like the company's just kind of awful because it took them a long time to monetize their creators, to support their creators who are now using it, and and the CEOs are making like astronomical amounts of money. There was actually a crazy story. Is one of the owners of Pornhub? He has three mansions, and one of them was burned down out
What
of
the
spite. One of
fuck?
them down was out of spite. It was crazy. And I don't think any form of violence is condoned, any form of threats or harm or anything. But did he have it coming?
I mean,
Who's to say? Who's to say?
right?
Um, yeah, and they handled the situation really poorly and weren't like doing anything. They were putting profits over people, and that's not acceptable. So I think as a company, the whole thing does not. But that's the problem, right? It's like when you have the individual and the individual worker, like you can understand their story and their strife. But corporations are just always like bad. They're just
Yeah.
inherently evil. They're just designed with. But the problem is they're doing what they're designed to do. They're making profits, no matter the cost of human value or whatever. And so it's I think Uh, yeah, and now the problem is because it's like such a household name, it's such a big brand, it's so recognizable. Even the intro music is recognizable. People jokingly play that on their drums.
Yeah.
Like it's like I remember there was that viral video of like the kid. They showed the viral video. It's like the kid in the auditorium plays the Pornhub theme on his drums, and the whole auditorium just starts cheering. That's kind of fun.
Exactly.
I appreciate that sort of stuff.
Yeah, because they
But
know.
then
They fucking know.
But then also here's the thing: is like I'm also torn. I think in general, I think just the owners are shitty, but the individuals on the platform can be good. At least like some of the stapled content creators. But so like um, the problem also too is they do like a lot of donating and stuff, and they've done like charity work and shit, which is very cool. And like I don't know, man. Um, yeah, it's yeah, but it was fucked up. It was fucked up to have to watch and to read. I think it's a very good watch. I think it's very useful. It provides some perspective. Um, but yeah, I don't know. But then it's also like, and then there's another side to it where it's like all these companies working to you know uh these like there was this one company I think it was called uh I don't remember the name of it, but it was like there was these companies that were like, legal aid to help out individuals who are victims, right? And I think that's good. However, they began as companies that were founded by like uber religious groups that like hate pornography and are demonizing it and are like trying to like get rid of it. So like, there's also that underlying component too. So like, neither of the sides are like they're not going in it with good intent.
Yeah.
Uh, and the point of the film, and that's why it remains neutral-ish. But I think we can all agree that, like, I think, well, all morally upstanding humans can agree that, like, sexual exploitation and, like, and I think there was a good point to the film too. Was like, it was saying that like non-consensual sex is not pornography. Like, all pornography has to be consensual for it to be porn.
Hmm.
And I think that's true, right? Because I've heard they like make you sign a bunch of like these consent forms and shit when you sign up to do that, and and I think it's a good thing. It's very good measures to be taken in place to make sure that no one gets harmed and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's just such obvious errors that like Pornhub could have taken, like the age verification thing. There was an article published in the New York Times that the film touches on. This documentary touches on was the big thing. It was like it was about I don't remember the title of the article, but it was about the abuse and the rape and the exploitation of all these victims on Pornhub, and the author summed that there were like three measures one could take. It was like more verification, more moderation, and something else. But I think these were like sensible steps to take, right? To like to curb the issue. And these are things that should have just been in place in the first hand. Was like, hey, you have to like be. Oh, I think the third rule was like only, or the second or third rule. It was only verified creators can like publish, can upload, because it was at a point before it was anyone could upload. And so if it's an 18 plus site, people are going to use it to post awful shit.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's like 4chan. We saw this with 4chan too. They just post the worst shit, awful shit, because they can. You
Yeah.
can. You know, it's like. But the problem that's sort of a symptom of the internet is because you can share anything and everything all the time. It's like, how are you gonna moderate that?
I'm probably
But
gonna butcher this word, but anonymity is like what can make a person a real trash human being, where they can just post anything and do anything they want, say anything they want, and it's because you don't know who they are or where they're from. It's like you can just totally do that and get away with it.
there's
But
no verification of like who these people are and what they're posting. It's like it could be anything, dude. And it's like,
now it's getting increasingly harder because like we live so much in the digital age. Like there's all kinds of footprints we leave everywhere online. So like speaking of 4chan, they're also the same fucks who can like track a flag in the middle of nowhere on a live stream with no discernible like markings.
that's right. They fucking shy the buff for so long by finding his fucking flag. The he will not divide us bullshit. Yeah,
Exactly. They were like
Oh God.
mapping
They
it
were,
from like the stars in the sky to like which airplanes were passing and like which flights would have been like happening around that time of day specifically. It was like it's insane. You can find anyone anywhere if you wanted to, if you really put in the work.
Yeah, those guys are putting in effort just to troll on this motherfucker. And like, yeah, that was funny
Yeah.
to an extent.
So that's kind of the great thing about the digital age we live in now versus like also a kind of new type of horror where if you can find anyone anywhere you want, Lord knows what you can do to them.
Yeah, no, seriously.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a fucked up world we live in, dude.
Yeah.
Oh God.
It's like you do something bad on the internet. It's like, what's it going to be, Western man? Are you going to get 32 pizzas sent to your house that you're going to have to pay for? Or the SWAT? One of those two.
Yeah, no, for real.
Which way, Western man?
Which way, Western? The duality of man. Delivering pizza or getting swatted.
Exactly.
That's an insane concept to me, is getting swatted. That's a weird... Why? Who the fuck... So, like, that's the problem, right? Is, like, again, it's this connection of idiots on the internet, of, like, crazy people, unhinged motherfuckers. And unhinged motherfuckers have existed throughout all of history, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
some of them have been successful. They've been able to be emperors and shit. But, like, some unhinged guys are just, like, or people are on the internet, and, like, they're just doing shit, like, they're... Swatting is, like, dangerous. Like, we're gonna say this now, like, the 9 to 5 boys do not stand swatting, and if any of our fans want to do that, viewers, whatever, don't fucking do that. It's not okay.
Yeah, we don't fuck with anyone who swats people, okay? We don't do that.
Or doxing. Doxing is not okay either. I don't care who it is.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe if it's like, I guess if you think about it, the U.S. government doxed Osama bin Laden, but like,
okay, well, I mean, out of all the people to dox, I mean, he's definitely
out of all the people to dox, I think he's a pretty good candidate.
Yeah, that's like.
But he also like plotted for like 2 planes to crash into the Twin Towers and like one into the Pentagon. So like anyway.
Yeah.
Funny, man. So like just don't fucking do that. That's just so. It shows such a lack of empathy and like of understanding. Like, really, like you would just like have cops show up, full guns whipped out to someone's house to scare the shit out of them, because they said a mean comment to you online. Like, go fuck yourself, dude. Like, what is your deal, man? That's why I think and like teenagers really do scare the shit out of me. I think in high schools we need to have classes that are geared towards helping teenagers, especially teenage boys, with emotional regulation. You know what I mean? Like, just teach them how to fucking deal with stuff without being such a reactive, without being fucking crazy about it, man. Because, like, I don't know.
Or the worst part is, like, they don't even have, like, a mean comment said to them online. They just fucking swat someone because they just don't agree with them ideology, like, wise. Just a difference of opinion, and you're sending cops with the idea that there's a bomb in this house and they have to deal with it.
Yeah, that's insane. Or like, I mean, the other claims could be like they have like people hostage or whatever.
Yeah.
Insane, dude. It's like it's weird. It's weird. Don't fucking dox. Don't fucking swat.
Yeah.
Just like if you're mad on the computer, here's an idea. Just log off.
Yeah.
Just log off for a day. Like just forget about it. I choose not to. Like I see this shit on Twitter all the time. I see people doing stupid ass arguments on Twitter, and like, why do you have the capacity and the energy to argue with someone who's probably halfway across the world from you over a keyboard? Like, why the fuck are you just exasperately like typing out all this stuff? Like, who cares? Like I don't know. It's yeah, whatever.
Yeah, if I was like 10 years younger and like I was on Twitter, I'd probably be like scrolling through like the arguments online, eating popcorn. Like, this is a fucking show right here. This is awesome. No, nowadays I'm too exhausted to like see like arguments online and shit. It's like it's trivial if anything. It sucks.
I don't care for it. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I really, it's just like, why waste your energy on that? It's like you're not gonna change the person's mind.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, that's what they needed. They needed some random stranger from the internet telling them, shifting their whole worldview. You know what I mean? Like that's gonna be real effective. That's what's gonna change their fucking mind.
Yeah.
And people could share their opinions. Like,
Yeah.
here's the thing too. Is like the weird thing about the internet, and like, you know, I'm gonna state this now because it's got to be clear. Is like, I'm fully supportive. If you support one of the amendments, you got to support all of them. I support the First Amendment. I support the Second. I support the Third, even though I don't know what the fuck it is. Support all the other fucking ones, right? Like, I
Yeah.
don't care, especially the one that like, re-legalized alcohol. But so like,
Yeah.
Um,
100%.
I think that was the 21st or something. But anyway, so like, but like, so here's the thing: like, freedom of speech is like it's a good thing because we should be able to share ideas. But sometimes ideas are just fucking flat out wrong. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay. Just learn to take the L. Like
Yeah.
so there's a great expression of like your right to swing your fist ends at my face. You know what I mean? You could swing all you want at the fucking air. Like you could do that. The minute it reaches my face, it's like you've reached out of bounds. So like,
Yeah.
with applying that to freedom of speech is like, you can say some dumb shit, but you gotta like be able to face the consequence of that dumb shit you're going to say. It's gonna be me either arguing back, and certainly I don't think anyone should be. Well, I mean, if you're like spreading ideas of hate and stuff, maybe it's okay to like swing a fist at somebody, like punching Nazis. I think is okay. Yeah, fuck Nazis. But so like, I just yeah, you're not. It doesn't. You being able to say whatever you want does not free you of the consequence of what stupid shit you're saying. And so people will be like, it's these QAnon people. Like they're like, oh, I'm making a stand and like saying what I truly believe in. Yeah, but what you believe in is truly bad shit, and it's okay and it's understandable, and you should have expected it. That a lot of your family or friends are gonna be like, yeah, you're bad shit. There's no such thing as like child sex dungeons under a pizza place. What the fuck you talking about, Jerry? Like, go to bed, like fucking.
I think the worst part about those kinds of people is they have such a obscure view of how the world works that you can't have a normal conversation with them about anything. Period. It's like, oh, did you see that new Tom Hanks movie? It's like, oh, Tom Hanks, the baby eater, one of those celebrity libtard fucks.
Well, yeah, they've got such a weird, warped view of the world. You can't argue them out of it. They're like,
because that's the only thing they live for. It's like, what the fuck? It's like they're like a soldier in a secret war. It's like, what is going on?
Yeah, they like think they're like doing it, and from where they're standing, they think they're doing good. And
Yeah,
I get it. I certainly don't want people to eat babies. But they're probably not doing that.
No.
They're probably not. It's like if they did, Bill Clinton would look a little better. You know what I mean? Like, he looks like shit these days, man. Hillary sucked the soul out of him or something, bro. Like for real.
100%. 100%.
But yeah, no. So like, I don't know, man.
The man had fun one time, and he was paying for it for the rest of his life.
I saw a joke on Twitter where it was a picture of him behind the desk in the Oval Office. What do they call that desk?
Oh god, I don't even know I don't know if there's a special name for that desk. Is there?
I don't know. If there is, I don't fucking know it, obviously. But so, there was a picture of him behind the desk, and the caption was Gen Zers won't know that there's two people in this picture. And I was like, bruh. um,
Oh my god.
yeah, yeah, man. It's yeah, the internet is like, I don't know. There's some good things to it. There's a lot of good content on the internet, and that I appreciate.
I
But like, there's
think
also like a lot of bad that comes with it. But I guess that's everything, right?
Well, I think the internet is the perfect reflection of people when you really think about it. It's like it's both good and bad. Like, it's like it's great in many aspects, but it's also terrible in other aspects. Like it like a person can never be perfect ever. There's always like flaws and shit that they will never fix ever. It's just a matter of what side you want to like operate on, whether or not you want to be like a calm, reasonable person online and just having fun, collecting information and whatnot, or be a total unreasonable dickhead who's just terrible to everyone around them.
Yeah, no, totally, man. I mean, it's like it is very much that choice, and people still choose it. The easy choice is like to be a dick. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It's like it's harder to be nice because like being nice means you have to like forgive and forget stuff, and it's like uh um and so it's it's just it is harder to be. It's a lot more work.
yeah,
I don't know. It's yeah. And I think there's some good to the internet. I think there's some potential.
yeah,
I think there's a lot of good things that can happen with the internet. There can be a lot of activism and a lot of there's a lot of information and knowledge spread and education. I think, but then there's also just equally a lot of misinformation, and
yeah.
maybe that's just like humans in general. The internet is just like another extension of that snake oil salesman from the 1850s or whatever the fuck, right? And it's like,
Ah, yeah. You see, this COVID-19 is nothing once you taste the miracle elixir of ivermectin worm paste.
no, yeah, you know what? That's a
Yeah.
perfect example. God damn it. Yeah, like it's like with
You ever
before
done
the
DMT?
huh?
You ever done DMT?
um, so
Fucking love how
yeah,
like literally someone's like telling a story about how they took drugs in the Amazon before they went up a river, and fucking Joe Rogan, without missing a beat, he's like, "Was it DMT? Was it DMT?" I'm like, this man is either on DMT or he wants to talk about DMT just all the time. Like, what the fuck?
really good. It's a really good. I had a friend of mine. Love her to death. It's funny too because she's like a recovering like heroin addict. But
Jesus.
no, I mean like she's cool. She's been
Yeah.
sober 20 years. Like it's fine.
Oh, well, that's
But
good.
like
Yeah.
so she
Okay.
was telling me she's like I'll never do that again. But I really want to try DMT. I'm like, you know what, man? I kind of get you on that. I kind of get you, man. There's something to be said about it. It's
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Psychedelics of any kind, right? It is because it is a psychedelic, isn't it? Or I guess hallucinogen is the literature.
Yeah,
Like,
it is. Yeah.
there's a certain appeal to it. It's certainly not for everybody. Like, yeah, there's a certain level of enjoyment to it. I'm sure.
Yeah.
So I've had fun on them before, and like on psychedelics, I mean, and like I've had a lot of fun actually.
Yeah.
It is enjoyable, but there comes a threshold, right, where it can be bad, and like and that's the part that really scares people, and it can be hit or miss, but it can also be like a really magical experience as well if you like allow it, I guess. There's not really anything to be said. The usual like hearsay is that like if you go and do it with a good mindset and like in a comfortable setting with a good group of people, you can have a good trip, and those factors probably do contribute, for sure. But the literature doesn't identify anything. It's just but I also think there's not enough research on it. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
think it's to be like a controlled experiment. Like you have 30 participants who like go in with a happy mood, who are like encouraged to be positive and happy, go in and trip, and then you have like a group a group of 30 who go in with a negative mindset, or like you show them a war film or something and you give them a trip, which like
Jesus.
it'd be kind of bad to induce a bad trip on people, but like it's for science. And then you have like a group of 30 who are like the control group, who are like just neutral. They just go in blank slated. You don't give them any external stimuli, and you just give them the drug. Um, I think that would provide a good, clear. It might help provide some direction,
Yeah.
but I know that we're not ready at that point to be doing that kind of testing yet. And again, I think there's an ethical issue of like, should we really induce a bad trip on people who? But I mean, if we have them give the consent to take the drug, we don't obviously want to drug them without their knowledge. That's also unethical.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't, again, another one from the 9 to 5 boys. Don't think we have to say this, but I guess we do. It's the internet. Don't drug people without their consent. It's just
Yeah.
an easy thing. Just like, you don't have to give somebody drugs. You could just, if they say no, take them yourself. Go
Yeah.
have fun, man. Your body, your choice, man. Go do your thing.
Exactly. Exactly. Also,
Well,
like, fucking, there was a comedian I saw recently. She had an opener, and she was talking about.
that's right. You got to tell me about that experience. But go on with this.
I did. It was amazing. Like, the jokes were on fire. They were on point. Like, it was awesome. It was a great show. But her opener, Candace Thompson, she talked about how she did mushrooms during
Nice.
the COVID-19 pandemic, and she said, what was it? There's two different types of experiences you can have with mushrooms. Like, yeah, you can have the one experience where you and your friends do mushrooms together and you giggle for 8 hours. That's fun. But nah, I'm out here like wanting to do mushrooms with a shaman in the desert. The scary way. Yeah.
That is the way, dude.
Yeah, and she said that she's been like 8 different people during the pandemic doing mushrooms. She went on several spiritual journeys through rebirth and death and whatnot.
Well, that's kind of how it goes. There's something to be said about when you do them. There's like an ego death that kind of occurs, and there's a lot of it from. And I'll speak of my personal experience. When I've done them, I felt a very calmness. I felt like a very. I felt. I feel like there's a lot of like introspection I can do, like a lot of self reflection and like ability to like identify like myself and my stuff. Um, And it's interesting, man. They can be very helpful in allowing that to occur.
Yeah.
I will attest again, they're not for everybody. So if you don't feel like you're ready to do mushrooms, don't do them. And if you're ready to do them, start at a low dose. Start low.
Yeah.
You can always take more. You can't fucking take less. And if you take too much, trust me, you're in for a ride, man. And you just
Yeah.
gotta ride it out. And like I've been there, right? It's like I've had a trip that's been like. I took so my usual dose I do for myself is like a gram. Is like that's what I'll usually do when I'm doing a trip. This time I did 4 grams. And I would say overall it was pretty good. Like the first probably third of it was not so fun, but then the last 2/3 I was like having a blast. Because like I was really relaxed and I was just sitting in the same couch spot for like a shit you not 6 hours.
Jesus
Did
Christ.
not move. I mean, except to like clean cat throat, which that was funny because like so what happened during that trip was like I put on Interstellar about an hour after I ate them because I was like, oh, they're gonna kick in and I could watch the movie. And it was my first time watching Interstellar, which is not a good way to watch it because then I was just too high to focus on it.
And to get all the
And
science behind it too.
to even understand the story, because I remember Matt Damon showed up and I was like upset and I was like, why the fuck is Matt Damon here? What happened?
Well, his
And
character's
so,
supposed to be like the physical representation of all of mankind. That's why he shows up.
I gotta watch that movie again. But so because
Yeah.
I did not get any of that shit, but it was cool visually. But
Yeah.
a cool movie to watch while tripping though would be Trolls, I think. But
That would be awesome. And it's a simple story. I mean,
it's simple. It's easy to get on. Great music you could vibe out to. But anyway, so I finished that and like it was just like when I'm on mushrooms, there's a lot of thinking going on, so there's a lot of noise up here. So I was just like, I need to shut everything off, shut off my visual perception. I closed my eyes, and the second I opened them back up, nothing would stop moving. And I was like, oh god.
oh god.
To the
Fucking
top
right.
like a rug that was all ziggy zaggy, and that was all doing shit. And then like I looked at the painting behind the couch, and that was all shifting colors. And then like I looked over at this other one. All right, I looked at the couch. That's what happened. I looked at the couch, and that wouldn't stop moving. And I was like, oh my god. I was like both horrified but mesmerized, and it was like, it was crazy. Uh. And I remember when it stopped distinctly. It like slowed down as soon as my roommate's girlfriend got home, and I was just sprawled out on the couch like this, just like, "Hey," like I'd explain. I'm like, "I'm sorry, I'm really high. Like, I'm just give me a second." And I was just like wigged out, man. It was crazy, but no, it was a cool
Yeah.
trip. I felt good, and at the end of it, I could laugh about it because I was like, "Oh, I'm back to normal." and I was
Snap
still
back to
right.
reality. Oh, there goes gravity.
Yup, you saw humanity. Uh, no, that was great. It was a good trip overall. It teetered definitely on like bad because I was like I'm not physically you never like you always feel a little weird. So like I think like what's helpful for me is like I take like a gram and I lay in my beanbag and if I stay in that for like hours I'm cool. Like it's perfect.
Okay.
It's a good nice nuzzled position where like I'm not feeling too sick or too anything. Um, yeah, it's definitely I think it's definitely helpful if you have a guide with you because I did a lot of them on my own, and then I became the guide for a lot of my friends, and then like I was like, oh gosh.
A lot of responsibility.
No, it's cool. It's always fun, right? It's always fun, like when like you got to take care of your friends who are actively high on shrooms, while you yourself are also high on shrooms. But like it's cool and like it's fun.
Jesus.
And I remember one of my friends, like I'm never gonna forget the story. He cracked me the fuck up. Um, so he goes off to the bathroom in my old place, and he's looking at all the mirrors and stuff, and the mirrors are kind of like there's two mirrors in that bathroom. There was like one main mirror above the sink, of course, and there was one next to it that was the medicine cabinet, and so they were both kind of like parallel to each other, so you could see a lot of you when you looked at them. And I think that was what troubled him because he was gone in there for like 5 minutes, but it felt like 30. And then he comes out, and I remember distinctly he comes out, and he's kind of in the dark, so he's a silhouette, which is funny, funnier. And so he comes out, and he's just standing like this. He's like, "I can't be alone like that again, dude." And I was like, "All right, I got you, man. Just sit on the couch. We're cool." But then he chilled out. But yeah, so that was definitely when you look in the mirror, it can be a little anxiety inducing. I remember like when I did another heavy trip, I like looked in my mirror and I saw my face looked like a Picasso, and I was like, oh god. Um, I thought my shit was all fucked up, but yeah, it was like, yeah, I got a little, yeah. No, trips are fun, man. I don't know. I definitely like. I don't endorse them. I say like, if you can handle them, go for it. Um, Even yeah, just start small. Even maybe even just a little bit might be helpful. I don't know. I think also it might just be helpful. I think with any drug, right? It's like people find what makes them happy, right? If you like smoking weed on the regular, go for it. If you like smoking cigarettes, they're not particularly well. I guess ingesting any drug is not particularly in the long run healthy for you, right? Because it alters your brain chemistry in some capacity, and the route of administration can really affect your body, right? So like if you're smoking cigarettes, weed, crack or meth or whatever, that can all like really fuck up your lungs, and because the lungs were not built to ingest smoke or whatever, right? But then like if you're snorting cocaine, like it can really like cut up your cartilage and give you a cocaine nose job. Um,
Yeah, which is not fun.
yeah, so don't do cocaine, kids. It's not good for you. But
Also, like, it increases your chances of getting a heart attack by like 4,000%. Like,
it's actually yeah, it's pretty. I mean, some people OD on their first time just trying it on their first bump,
yeah,
which is yeah, it's pretty dangerous. And especially now they're cutting it with like fentanyl and stuff, and like there's a lot of hearsay about fentanyl. I mean, just ingesting it in general is not good, and high doses don't do it. It's a very controlled substance. But
but to actually have it affect you, you guys, you actually have to have it
you
come
have to ingest
directly
it.
into your system, like
You have
literally
to have it
breathing
through
that
the
shit
nose,
in.
breathing it in, or what in any capacity. It can't be like through physical touch. It's not a solvent. It doesn't dissolve into the skin. You're fine.
Yeah.
You're just pussies. And so
Just wear a fucking mask when dealing with it and you're fine.
yeah, exactly. Just wear a
Yeah.
mask. Conceal any way of it getting into your system. And so, and that damages your body, right? Like alcohol damages the liver. So I know this is a poison, but like also I just really like beer. Um, and what other drugs are there?
Well, the
Hallucinogens.
passage of time also just destroys your body, so there is that too.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. Time's a bad drug. Don't be doing time, guys.
Exactly. Don't be doing time.
But yes, I mean, just I think I think like, but I often have like a pretty neutral perspective. I think like every drug except meth, except any type of amphetamine. I think any drug is neither good nor evil, right? I think
Yeah.
humans are just pretty much evil because with every other drug, right? There's some. medical benefit that can be provided. I mean, like with alcohol, maybe not so much. Like maybe it can be used as like a painkiller in some component, or like so can heroin. I mean, morphine's a stronger, cleaner version of heroin. And people use that for when they like get an injury or whatever. Like for my instance, I had my appendix burst on me, so I needed that shit. But
Yeah.
I don't know what it gave me. It was like a codeine mix. But and then cocaine maybe isn't so great. It can be used as a local anesthetic. If needed. But marijuana, there's medical marijuana, so there's some beneficial effects to it. Um, so yeah, I think generally, but amphetamine, right? I can't. There's the only positive application that it can be used for is for military application, and I usually don't stay in the military. Fuck those guys. But
The institution, not the actual soldiers themselves, you
I'm a
guys.
soldier. I
Yeah.
respect their feels. Yeah. I respect soldiers. I think the VA should treat them better, but that's a whole other story.
Yeah,
But
it's like, it's like when anyone ever says, like, oh, you got to always respect the troops. It's like, yeah, we respect the troops. It's not the institution that they serve under, okay?
yeah, the military industrial complex is not something I support. The individuals who serve in it for good intent, sure, I support them. The
Yeah.
ones who because they want to kill Iraqis or something, they can go fuck themselves. But
Yeah, the people who make my food at fucking Jack in the Box I can respect because they're putting in the work. They're making my food. I can say, fuck you, the entire
fuck Jack in
establishment.
the Box. No, fuck Jack in the Box. They're awful. I do appreciate that they're open 24 hours and I can get a loaded breakfast sandwich at any hour of the day.
Also, why the fuck are people obsessing over, like, McDonald's milkshakes when I'm just like, Jack in the Box is way better, and it's actual real milk in their milkshakes, and their shit don't go broken.
That's true. That's true. They do. They put real milk in that. They're actually very good milkshakes. I remember.
Y'all motherfuckers are sleeping on Jack in the Box milkshakes.
Facts, dude. But yeah. So I think, but so amphetamine is the only one that the only good application of it would be in military use. It was used in World War II for soldiers to stay awake. But
And
again,
pilots in the army still take it to actually stay awake
they're still
during
given
flights.
they're given to the Air Force. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
They're given low doses to the Air Force, and that's not a good application because that's just encouraging war and bloodshed.
Yeah.
I think every other drug is pretty neutral, though. I mean, it just depends. It has to be the hands of the user of what they do with it. And so that's why drugs impact people so differently. That's why some people should stay sober off of some things, but can maintain a healthy relationship with others. You know what I mean? It's like, I think with that message, we should clock out here. What do you say?
I think so. Now's a good time.
All right. Well, everybody have a great day, morning, night, whatever the fuck you're doing. Go to drugs. Don't do school.
Exactly. Be careful what drugs you do. Get in better shape, and be careful of the greatest drug of all, time. Don't be doing time.
Don't be doing time, man. Don't be doing time.
Time will fuck you up in like 30 to 40 years.
Yeah, for real.